Hey everyone, it's Jack, and I'm out at bandshed.net to take a look at AV Linux. AV Linux is based on MX21, which is something we had taken a look at before. It's a Debian-based distro, and MX21 looks like it might be a perfect platform for AV Linux. It's all decked out and ready to go with all types of content creation apps on here for video producing, audio production, graphics, and if you're a creator, the stuff that's on here is probably going to be a great fit for you. I'm really kind of excited to go take a look at this and kind of see what it is, because I kind of have a creative side to me and I really like working with audio type programs and video and graphics and all that good stuff. So this, to me, particularly looks interesting. And so what they got to say here is the multimedia content creation focus AV Linux has provided since 2008 is now combined with the powerful versatility of MX Linux. Wow. AV Linux MX Edition comes with a high-performance Liquorix Kernel. Don't think I pronounced that right, but the light and configurable open box window manager and the efficient yet full-featured XFCE4 desktop environment. I like that. So we have open box window manager with XFCE4 as opposed to XFCEWM or XFWM4, which is usually what you get with that. So I'm really curious to see how that works. That sounds like a really good efficient combo there, the open box and XFCE4. I like that. And then in addition to the whole host of useful tools, including the venerable MX tools paired with the convenience of the AVI MXE. Google. So wow, here's our download link and it's provided here. And so here's our ISO, and the ISO is 3.3 gigs in size, so it's pretty good size, but that's to be expected since we have all this production stuff located here. I've already downloaded this off camera. I'm going to load this baby in and we're going to kick this right into gear so we can see how this works. But first, in my last video regarding OpenMandriva, Travis Bear had asked a good question here. He says, "Hey Jack, what is your underlying distro? Which distro is your favorite that is your go-to?" By the way, OpenMandriva is nice, polished. Yes, agreed. And well, that's a great question, and I do get that fairly often, what my underlying distro is. I would say my go-to, my platform go-to is typically Arch, and the distro that I really like the best running Arch is Arco Linux. Arco Linux is just already set up the way I would pretty much set it up anyway. Installing Arco Linux, I really don't have much to do. It's just done for you. So with Arco Linux, it's already set up the way I like it. It's all done. You know, you get the devs out there that put these distros together, and when you install something from scratch, vanilla, you can do it your own way. And yes, you can set up your own scripts once you get it exactly the way you want it. So that way, the next time you install Arch, it'll just go right in and already be set up your way. So that is definitely an advantage. But if you want something quick that just works right now and you don't want to have surprises somewhere along the way, oh wow, I need this library, oh crap, things like that, I think Arco Linux is really a great way to go. And I also like the fact that when you're installing Arco, you get your choices of all the apps that you can put in and different things as you're installing it. So you can really pretty much set up your whole system just at the install, running the installer. So I really love the way Arco does that, and I just love the fact that in the Arch platform you just have the access to all the latest and greatest. And for what I do, I need access to a lot of different software and new softwares. Arch really is, for me, just a natural fit. Now I also use MX Linux on one of my other computers, and sometimes MX is my main driver. If I start having any kind of updating issues with Arch, sometimes you get an update and something stops working. But that's really kind of rare and typically temporary too. But it does happen sometimes, so I also got MX Linux there as a standby. And currently I'm back on Arco Linux here for my daily. So yes, in my opinion, for me, for what I do, and anybody that's probably in a similar boat, yeah, I think Arco Linux and MX are probably the two top dogs here. That's my 2 cents anyway. And with that, let's get to it. So here I am at the MX Linux boot screen here, actually AV Linux, based on MX. And so here we have our system D and our standard. So by default, it's non-system D, or sysinit, I think it is. So I'm gonna just get logged in here. And the install went okay, so I'm just gonna log in with my username and password. And then we should be booted in any day now. Okay, we are in. So here's our desktop and looking good. Looks like we got 7 new updates here. I'm just gonna jump up here and set my display settings real quick. So I'm gonna go into settings and find display here. So I'm gonna go up here, set it to 1920 by 1080 and apply it. That's better. Way more civilized. So I'll close that and come out here. And so here we got a really nice looking conky. Wow, the conky is really looks great. Wow, really impressive. I like how they did that. Got the AV logo up there. Only 632 megs of resources, it looks like, of memory, RAM. And this is kind of like our welcome screen. So I think I can just probably close that. Nothing too earth-shattering there. And this is our menu. So I like how they got the panel here on the bottom. I think that's our XFCE panel. Could be Planck, but hard to say. And here's our updater. Looks like we got updates available. So I'll just hit that, and not too many. That's good. And by the way, this was just released on February 14th, I believe, this version of AV Linux. So not very long ago as of the time of this video. We're going to let that full upgrade run. And we got it kind of in a terminal window there, which is really good. I like that. It shows our open window there in the middle. That's very cool. And then those are our network settings. This is our logout if you want to leave, log out or shut down. And then our network settings. And then audio settings. Here's where you have your volume control, microphone, and all that good stuff. And then our terminal, package installer, TuneR file manager, Firefox, and of course our application menu. And they got this panel shrunk down to kind of give it a Mac-like feel to it. So that's cool. Let's take a look at our package manager real quick. And so here's our MX package installer. And if you've seen my MX video recently, this ought to look pretty familiar. And I really like the package installer, how they have it set up where you have different repos that you can choose right from a different tabs here, like your stable and your test repo, backports, and even Flatpaks. And then you can see your console output and everything. Really wonderful. And so with Flatpaks, if you need something that's just the latest and greatest and isn't in the repos yet, it's probably available in a Flatpak. And that solves the problem of something that's not the absolute cutting edge. And then here's our, I like that theme. That's cool. This is our TuneR file manager. And so if I was going to search for something like Inkscape, and we hit that, then if I just widen this up a bit here, we can kind of 1.12. Wow, 1.1.2. That is the latest and greatest there out of Flatpaks. I'm pretty sure Inkscape is probably installed on here. So I'm assuming that what's on here is not a Flatpak, but I'd like to see if it's newer. Yeah, that's a newer one. That's got to be 1.1.1, I think. So if I open that up and just go to help and about, yes, it is. Down here we can see 1.1.1. Even right from the repos, it's pretty recent, and that's good. I'm going to open my console And let's go in here and just kind of do an HTOP. I think that's installed. Yes, it is. Wow, 479 megs. Whoa. That is really great resource usage. I wonder if that has to do with the fact that they're using OpenBox for the Windows Manager. That is really great. Especially, I don't think I got that good on MX. By the way, AV Linux is not an official release of MX or version of it. So just to let you know, it mentions that on the website. Here we got 5.15 kernel. Yes, and it's that Liquorix AMD 64 kernel. Nice. And then we got our open box for our window manager. I like that. Our window manager theme and icons. Those all look original. So I think this was designed by the AVL team there, that theme. That's probably why I've never seen that before, because this kind of rust-colored theme is really cool looking, actually. I like it. So we got our accessories here, and I guess I got to click that. I'll have to fix that, actually. But yeah, graphics development. Actually, that's not broken, but I can adjust that. And this is here we can make our menu wider or narrower. And if we want to change the categories so they change when they hover, all we got to do is go to properties here and jump up here to behavior. And then I'll just check this box that says switch categories by hovering. Then if I hit close, now they ought to just switch as I hover over the categories. That's better. I kind of like that. So that's fixed. A lot of stuff here. Oh, even has BPYTOP. This is that app that Mustafa always talks about, and I really never acknowledged it. But this is really nice. This is like the next generation HTOP. This is even more. You got your process viewer over here, which is fantastic. And then here you can see your disk usage and your memory usage right here. And that's our total RAM here. And we're using 774 megabytes of RAM on our resources right now, which isn't bad considering that I opened up a couple other items. And then here we got our network settings, so our IP address, and then our bit rates and so forth over here. And again, here on the process manager, this is cool. We can go down and look at our different applications and processes that are open. And if you want to kill something right from here, you can do it right here. So that is cool. I don't think you can do that on HTOP. I love it. So this is really, yeah, next level stuff. And then here's your CPU usage. And it's kind of showing your CPU output and so forth there. And it's got it kind of in a graphical form. Really like that. So that's the BPYTOP. And I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's what it looks like to me. So nice. And then under our accessories, we got our Conky Manager and our Conky Toggle. So you can toggle your Conky on and off using that. So if you don't want the Conky on there, you can just hit that Conky toggle and it'll disappear. And then if you decide, wait a minute, I didn't want to do that, come back, I miss you, Conky. You can come back here, hit it again, and it'll show up right there, except now it's over in the upper left corner. And then we got our MX Updater and Nitrogen, Notes, Screenshot, all kinds of great stuff here. Task Manager, Thunar File Manager. So all our good accessories and not much under development, which is understandable. And then here's our GIMP and our Inkscape and our Ristretto for the image viewer. And then under Internet, we got our Firefox. I like to see FileZilla there too, since I have a website. That's something I install anyway. And we're going to take a look at our Firefox and just see what version it is. Hopefully it's at least 97, I would think. So let's hit help. And yes, so we got 97.0. Whenever I'm on a Debian-based distro, I'm always paranoid that things are ancient. But they aren't here, so that's nice to see. And yet you still have the stability. And so here we got our Doer and AVID box. Cinelerra GG. Wow, that's gotta take a quick look at that. That's a professional grade video editing. And so Yes, wow, you can do motion tracking in it and all kinds of advanced stuff. Cinelerra is really cool. It's a little more complicated to use, but here we have it opened up, and it looks like all the windows are kind of all over the place. This is something that's not docked, which is the only thing I don't like that much, but that's easily fixable by just going over here to Window and set default positions, and then they all come together just like this, and they look kind of normal again. They'll still come apart, but they kind of stay where you want them, so that's nice. And this is where you would load a file just by right-clicking and hitting this, and then you would just pick something. Of course, there's nothing on here right now, so I can't really pick a video file, but that's where you would do it. I'm going to jump up out of the way real quick. So your file would open up over here on this left-hand window, and then you would just go, if I remember right, you would like select your in marker, and then you would scroll all the way to the end and do the out marker, and then you would, I think you would just drag that down and into the timeline after that. It's been a while, so I don't remember too clearly. And then if you come over here, you got all your video effects. You got tons of video and audio effects. These are your audio effects, and don't think there's anything much under there, but then you got your video effects too. And there is a lot of audio effects, by the way. And then you got motion blur and your denoise, and all these different categories has tons of video effects that you can choose from. Scaling, time type of effects here related to time, artistic, and even test items, which are probably like new things that developers have created. I don't recall, but just tons of stuff. And then you got your audio transitions and video transitions. So you can choose from all your transitions here. And if I remember right, all you have to do is just drag those onto the timeline. It's been a while since I used Cinelerra, but I think I even did a video on it a long time ago. But this is really a fantastic video editor. Once you get used to it, it's different than other things. And if you close this, it's just going to close this window here. If you want to close the whole app, you want to go to File and then Quit, and that'll close all the windows at once. And you can also right-click too down in the taskbar when you have it open as well. So really great. Guitarix, that looks interesting too. That's a guitar amp that you can actually plug into your input jack. That is neat. So here we have our amp, and wow. So yeah, you just plug your guitar into the sound jack, and then you can go in here and set all your settings here, your gain, your master, and you can open up a rack here and add some effects. I love it. And then you can live plug right into it. And then here's your jack audio server. And so, yeah, I'm not quite sure how this works, but I might want to do a video on this, plug my guitar in it. This looks really cool. I like this. A compressor and noise gate. A lot of good stuff here. Wow. And then over here you got plugins, and then your presets, so you can get preset sounds. Nice. So if I check that box, I got some presets right here, right out the gate. That's really cool. And nice. Barry VH. I wonder if that's like Van Halen presets. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I would love to plug my guitar in there and hit that solo lead there and see what that sounds like. Nice. Okay, so that's the Guitarix application there. Very cool. Then under multimedia, more stuff here. Hydrogen for drum sequences. Wow. Caden Live, which is an easier version of a video editor to use. Media info. MPV for our media player. Music score. Man, we're creating and editing music scores. Wow. Multimedia converter. There's OBS Studio. And I don't think that's probably 27, but let's take a look. Yeah, that would be 26.1.2. So if you need the latest version of OBS Studio, if you need to run 27 for whatever reason, you can download the flat pack using the package manager and just select the flat pack tab and you're all set there. Otherwise, 26 would probably work just fine on this distro. And then we got Reaper, I don't remember what that is, and our simple screen recorder, drum sampler, wow, VLC media player, and Yadbridge Yashomi synthesizer. Let's see what version our VLC is, because typically it's kind of old on Debian releases, and that's 30.16. Nice. So that's a newer version of VLC. I see that as a big plus too. That's great to see. So then if we jump up here to MX tools, we got all the different tools. So if you're a more advanced user and you run into issues or things you need to try to fix and you want to do it without the console, you'll find something in here probably that's going to solve your problem. I like the fact that it had the iDevice mounter there too. That's very cool. So if you have an iPhone, you're good. And then MX codecs installer. Given that we got VLC on here already, we're pretty much covered on codecs, but that'll install any additional restricted codecs. And then our MX package installer here, MX snapshot tools, tweak, driver installer, system keyboard, and locales. And then nothing in the way of office programs, which isn't really too surprising either, given that this is geared towards multimedia. And then we have Wine on here. So that's nice to see too. And I'm just going to hit that to see what version of Wine we're running. So here's our window here. If I drag that down, I should be able to see the version here. So it's 6.22. Very good. The newest is around 7 dot something, 7.1 I think. So 6.22 is quite good. Then here under settings, here we have a combination of our typical XFCE settings like appearance and so forth, along with more MX and the AVL stuff. Let's open our appearance real quick. And here, yeah, so it looks like we do have customized theming here. AVL MXE. So I'm liking that. I really like their custom theming, and I probably wouldn't even change it. It's just got that cool look. Then I'm going to open up Thunar here, and even the folders, I like the coloring in the folders. They look cool. So we'll close that and jump back down here, and then there's file manager settings and iDevice mounter like we saw before, MX tools, MX tweak. So if you're a little bit more advanced, open box configuration manager, you got just tons of tools available to you and utilities to take care of things. And that's one of the things I really like about MX Linux is that you got so much stuff that you can work with right at your fingertips. So that's nice. And then our bash config, there's the BPYTOP. Let's hit that about real quick, see what that is. Okay, that's the screen that we got when we opened it up. So pretty much our opening screen. That's cool. So scrolling back down, Qt 5 settings, removable drives, devices, Synaptics package manager. That's excellent package manager. System locales and XFCE terminal setting. And then we have our system with a lot of the stuff that we've seen already. HTOP, Profiler, Task Manager, Thunar File Manager, UX Terminal, and XFCE and Xterm. I'm going to minimize that and maybe minimize this. And let's right click and see what we got here. Since this is an open box manager, it should look a little bit different. Yeah, wow, okay. So here we have access to our different areas. There's our wallpaper settings, terminal, root terminal, software, MX tools, and so forth. And then down below, we got our application menu. So just what we saw in our menu previously is also available right here, so you can get access to all your applications right with a right click. And then your open box settings here. So a very healthy, robust right click menu there. I'm going to hit wallpaper here and let's see what kind of wallpaper we got. And so that opens up nitrogen and a lot of things to choose from here. Lots of colors, and looks like I can scroll down and get more. Just hit apply. So yeah, nice. And Freddie King, wow. Blues player out of Texas. One of the big guns. That's cool. I like that wallpaper actually. Nice. And so we scroll down and a lot of different ones to choose from. That's kind of cool. Then we got a couple landscapes in there. More colors. I like these because the wallpapers aren't too busy. And that works well if you have icons on the desktop. Wow, that's gorgeous. And bright too. Yeah, some great wallpapers. I don't know. This is a tough call here. I might have to load them all at the same time. I'm still kind of leaning towards Freddie though. I like this. It's cool. There's another version right there. It looks like a more close-up. And that looks pretty cool. I like the expression on his face there. That might be even cooler. Yeah, might keep that one. I don't know. I'll compare it again. That's good too, but I'm gonna go with the expression, I think. Yeah, that's that speaks to me somehow. I like it. Looks like a winner. I'm gonna keep this one. Excellent, Mr. King. All right. So got a cool wallpaper. And this right-click menu is really nice. I like the right-click looks on it. It's themed out really nice. And that conky, I just can't get over how nice the conky looks too. I guess it just, everything works. The color scheming, everything. Really great. Here's our XFCE panel. So that is an XFCE panel down there. I wasn't quite sure if that was Plank or the actual panel. So it is the panel. Just right-click and hit panel properties, and then we can go in here, and then these are our properties in XFCE, just kind of like we've seen in many other ones. But if you wanted to change it for any reason, you want to make the panel go all the way across, or you don't want it transparent, you can give it a solid color. You can make it vertical if you want. So this is where you would do all that if you wanted to change things around a little. And dark mode's on. If I turn that off, then everything goes light. So then if I was going to go into my menu, everything's bright. So yes, that's where you can turn on and off dark mode without changing your theme, actually. Very good. And then these are your opacity settings when you mouse over. And then these are your panel items. And you can add and remove panel items right in here too. And they correspond to the items that you see down there on the panel. Very cool. And then our open window is showing right there in the middle. If I close that, then it disappears. So now we just have our icons again. Well, yes. So I think that's going to pretty much cover it here for our AV Linux. This AV Linux is really an impressive looking version of MX. I think they took MX, which is a polished Linux, and polished it even more. MX Linux is a pretty polished distro, but I always felt like that it could use just a little bit more somehow in the theming and all that. And these guys did it. They nailed it. They just got that extra level of polish there, and it's got all kinds of great apps installed by default. And one might say, well, why not just install MX Linux and install the stuff yourself? And that's a pretty legitimate question, because you can install all the apps that are on here right now on any distro and install them yourself. The difference is you'd have to go out and find them and put them in there. And you also have two different camps of people. Some people, they want to have everything loaded and just remove what they don't want. They find that to be a lot easier to handle. And then you have the other camp where they want things bare bone and then install from scratch and then just put on what they want. You have two different mindsets there. Depending on who you are, if you're in the camp that says, I want it loaded and I'll just remove what I don't want, then this would be a really good choice because it's got almost everything, I think, that you would want to use, especially in the multimedia and sound category. Anything that you wouldn't use, of course, for example, maybe you'd never use Cinelerra. You could just simply uninstall it and no problem. But at the same time, you got this beautiful theming and it just gives you this ambiance of a multimedia system. I think it's themed exactly perfect for a multimedia station. I don't think I would change a thing there. I definitely give this a double thumbs up. And I also feel that MX Linux was the perfect choice for the AV team to migrate to for this distro. So yes, thumbs up for that too. And so I guess that's my 2 cents. AV Linux, excellent. Heck yeah, I would use it. Setting up a multimedia machine for video editing, sound editing, playing my guitar through, whatever. This would be it. You can't go wrong. And it's got the rock stable Debian 11 behind it and all the gazillion utilities that MX Linux has to offer. So what's not to love about this? 5 stars, absolutely. And with that, I hope this review was helpful. And if it was, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and hit subscribe. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.